Part 67. Have I been locked up by you? Are you imprisoning me? I am not a prisoner. When Xuan Huaifeng fell asleep in his arms, Bai Xuelan gently put him down on the bed, covered his body with a thin silk quilt, and then came out in casual clothes. When they got to the utility room in the backyard, Xuan was tied up like a wrap like glutinous rice and was guarded by 2 guards. He was already so frightened that his face was pale. When he saw Bai Xuelan feeling relieved to come in, he sat leisurely on the chair, his eyes were not cold. He glanced at it hotly, shaking like a sieve. Bai Xuelan asked, "Have you checked it?" One of the 2 guards replied, "Chief, after checking, his mother is really sick in bed. Neighbors said that his father died long ago, and the widowed mother was the one who washed the clothes and pulled him with one hand to grow." He also confessed, those things that he stole are now in the pawn shop. All the money is spent on medical treatment, and the pawn ticket has also been found. Look, Bai Xuelan took a glance and couldn't help laughing. It's actually a job. What, you stole the thief, and you plan to redeem it? Xuan was extremely frightened, and said tremblingly, "I really can't do this kind of shameless thing. I originally planned to. I plan to wait for my mother to recover, save a little money in a few months, go to redeem it, and put it back quietly. Chief, please forgive me this time." Kneeling on the ground, a thud kowtow vigorously on the ground. Bai Xuelan sneered, "Are you saying you're blind? You're a robber. If you want to rob a house, go far away. Looking for money on a robber's head, aren't you looking for death?" Bai Xuelan said, but Xuan just begged for mercy and kowtow. Bai Xuelan said, all right, don't make me upset. Let me ask you, you are short of money these days, have you accepted bribes from outsiders besides stealing?" Xuan was stunned and shook his head. Bai Xuelan gritted his teeth and said with a smile. You raised your head, looked into my eyes and answered, "I understand, and you tell me the truth, and I will spare you. If you lie, I will find out. Hey, the person who steals things, I will only cut them down. If your hands collude with the outside world, I will skin you alive." Xuan raised his head tremblingly and met Bai Xuelan's eyes. As if he had been stabbed by 2 ice knives, his whole body was full of cold air, still shook his head and said tremblingly, "No. I never dared." Bai Xuelan scrutinized him for a moment, knowing that his bile was oozing out of fear, but he really didn't lie, and smiled lightly. "So, you still know the word, dare," he said to the guard. "Untie him." This guard has been with Bai Xuelan for a while, and he has never seen him take it so lightly and show such compassion for no reason. Bai Xuelan glared at him. "What are you stunned for? Are you deaf?" The guard sighed and untied Xuan. Xuan was still kneeling on the ground in a daze, and he was shocked for a long time. He finally understood, and kowtowed to Bai Xuelan with tears on his face. "Thank you for your kindness, Chief. Thank you for your kindness. You are so kind and compassionate. There are a lot of adults." Bai Xuelan's toes kicked him lightly, and scolded with a smile, "You have eaten the guts of an ambitious leopard, and your eyes are on this lord's head. If this was in Shandong, your sky lantern would have been lit earlier. Do you know why I let you go?" Xuan said gratefully, "It's your compassionate old woman, poor little one. Poor little old mother." Bai Xuelan sneered, "Fuck you. You have some eyesight, you are asking the right Buddha." Adjutant Xuan said, "To spare you, I have to take care of his face. Do you understand?" Xuan said hurriedly, "Understood. I understand. You know shit." Bai Xuelan said, "Listen. I am for his face. Today I will make you regret being reincarnated in this world." Xuan nodded, yes. Little known. Go away. Thank you, Chief. Thank you. Adjutant Xuan. Fu San got up from the ground in gratitude, struggling with his limp legs, and turned around. Behind him, Bai Xuelan suddenly said, "Wait a minute." Fu San thumped in fright, and his knees hit the floor again, terrified. Bai Xuelan asked, in a hurry to go to Adjutant Xuan to complain. Fu San was still a little smart, and shook his head quickly. No, no. Tonight's matter, a small word. I dare not reveal a word. Bai Xuelan smiled slightly. You're a bit smart. With a wink, a guard ran out, got 3 small long wooden boxes from somewhere, and handed them to Fu San. Fu San took it in a daze, still not sure what was going on, when Bai Xuelan's voice came from overhead. He was saying, "Isn't your mother going to drink a monthly salary's worth of old ginseng soup? Here are a few of them in good condition. You can't buy it even in the high class, so I'll give it to you as a tribute. In case you bastard has no money to buy it, and you steal chickens and dogs in the mansion." Fu San's tears had already stopped. Now he looked down at these things in his arms, and his eyes swelled again out. The next day, the two had breakfast together. The servant brought over several newspapers that arrived in the morning that he was used to. Xuan Huaifeng deliberately picked a copy of the Chamber of Commerce Daily, and while drinking gruel, he flipped through it with one hand. What? It's such a trivial matter that you even led your troops to arrest people? Bai Xuelan mixed rice with marinated gravy and said without raising his head, "Well, not much, so I only caught 2 or 3. Shut it down and suppress the evil spirits. My customs office is a demon tower." Xuan Huaifeng said, "You have to be careful, arresting people indiscriminately will set you on fire." Bai Xuelan said, "Am I that kind of idiot? Of course, I grabbed the braid before I grabbed it. Okay, let's eat quickly. Last night I said that my stomach was uncomfortable. Now I'm eating and reading the newspaper. Next time, I'll do it halfway through, so don't complain about the stomachache." Xuan Huaifeng glanced at him. "Early in the morning, you only think about the evil places. I think the customs office should shut you up first to suppress your evil spirits." Bai Xuelan laughed, and put the rest in the bowl. He ripped off the next 2 meals, threw down the bowl, stood behind Xuan Huaifeng, bent over and put his head on his shoulder, put his arms around him and asked, "Tell me, why am I being evil? If you don't explain it, I won't forgive you." Xuan Huaifeng held the bowl in the air and shouted, "Don't make trouble, don't make trouble. Look, the porridge has been spilled." Bai Xuelan said, "This porridge is good. You feed me too like last night, and I will let go of you." Xuan Huaifeng said, "I was drunk last night. If I was sober, I would never do that kind of thing." Bai Xuelan asked with a smile, "That kind of thing? What kind?" Xuan Huaifeng's face flushed, and his elbow slammed back, hitting Bai Xuelan's waist. Bai Xuelan let out a pained cry and let go. Xuan Huaifeng turned his head, looked at his eyes, and said calmly, "You don't have to pretend. How can it hurt like this if you bump it like this? I didn't exert any strength." Seeing that he saw through, Bai Xuelan stopped pretending, smiled with white teeth, and said meaningfully, "You didn't use force? No wonder. I said that the elbow is as comfortable as being touched by someone." They chatted and laughed, and passed a breakfast. Xuan Huaifeng added, "Yesterday I told Song Ren to go out. But he said that without your consent, he would not dare to let me go out the door. Let me ask, now, have I been locked up by you again? When will you be locked up again?" Bai Xuelan asked. "Where did you want to go out yesterday? See Mrs. Nian?" Xuan Huaifeng said, "How can you visit every day? My sister is about to give birth recently, and I don't have the energy to receive such a reception. I was too busy yesterday, so I plan to go back to the General Administration of Customs to do some work. There is always something on your side, I can help you." Bai Xuelan said, "You should recuperate, don't rush to do things. Xuan Huaifeng said, the wounds are all healed. What else do you need to take care of? Bai Xuelan said, you should rest for a while. Xuan Huaifeng stopped, looked at Bai Xuelan, and laughed dumbly. You really plan to lock me up? Don't you? Bai Xuelan said, how can there be such a thing? Why am I imprisoning you? Xuan Huaifeng said sternly, let me tell you clearly. At the General Administration of Customs. If you don't let me return to work, that's your responsibility. I will not talk about the power of the chief. However, since it is a vacation, I have the freedom of a vacationer. When I want to go out, I will not be restricted by anyone. Bai Xuelan frowned, you are clamoring to go out. Where do you want to go? Xuan Huaifeng said, there's no specific place. It's just my power, it's very uncomfortable to be deprived of it. If you're locked in one place, you need another person's permission to go out. I don't believe you will be at ease. Where can I go? You know the people I communicate with, but they are just a few poor friends, scholars who talk about literature and science. Or when you are bored, go to a movie. Go to look at the lake in the park and relax. Do you need permission for this? Before he could finish speaking, Bai Xuelan raised his hand, looked at his watch, and waved. Okay, let's not discuss this for now. I'm going to the Prime Minister's office today, so I can't be late. This question, wait for me. I'll talk to you when I have time. Xuan Huaifeng said, I don't think we need to talk anymore. Can a person's right to move freely be taken away by just talking? Bai Xuelan couldn't help laughing, and came up to hug Xuan Huaifeng, put a kiss on his lips and hurried away. After Bai Xuelan went out, less than half an hour later, a call came, and the servant asked Xuan Huaifeng to go to the study to pick it up. When Xuan Huaifeng picked it up, it turned out to be Xuan Huaifeng. Xuan Huaifeng asked on the phone, today I got a payment for the author's work, and I invite all my friends to go to the restaurant. Will you come? Xuan Huaifeng asked curiously, it's very generous. Even if you take the author's fee, you invite your friends to go to the restaurant, then you have nothing else to do. How does the place cost? Xuan Huaifeng said, stop making fun of me. I can't get paid every time, so I invite you to go to the restaurant. I'm not that lavish. As friends, you may not have the heart to eat me like this. The big manuscript, the editor-in-chief liked it very much, and the money he gave was a little more than usual. I gave 10 yuan to be a host. And everyone had a good time. It's still okay. How about it? Xuan Huaifeng asked. Of course, I'm on vacation and I'm very bored. I'm just about to go out for a walk. Where can I eat? What time is the appointment? Xuan Huaifeng told him the address of the restaurant he had chosen and said, the business there is very good. Many people from Hubei love to help. It is difficult to find a seat at night. We will have lunch. You go out quickly. I also ask you to help me invite Xie Chaifu. Xuan Huaifeng said, you're still so frantic. How can you treat a guest in such a hurry? If you make an appointment for lunch, he won't be able to come if you don't tell me. At noon, he has to go to class in the afternoon. Is it for you to have a meal in the sun? Even after all this trip down here, I still feel uneasy. Xuan Huaifeng asked, don't you know? He was fired, so where can there be classes? He hesitates at home every day, and we are discussing how to find him an errand. Xuan Huaifeng was taken aback for a moment. When did it happen? I don't know at all. Xuan Huaifeng said. Last time I was a guest at your mansion, I heard him mention it. By the way, you went outside to receive guests at that time, so you don't know. Don't talk about this now. Let's talk about the restaurant. What's the matter? Xuan Huaifeng said. Then I'll go out, go to Xie Chaifu's place, and invite him to eat your host. He hung up the phone. Xuan Huaifeng was a little hesitant after changing his coat. If this happened, he might be stopped by Song Ren again. Did he make a phone call to the General Administration of Customs first and ask Bai Xuelan's approval? This is not good. I want to fight for my own rights. Once this case is opened, it turns into giving up freedom first. Since then, this mansion has naturally become a prison. What's the point? So, he walked to the door without saying a word. Just as he walked to the gatehouse, Song Ren followed him in big strides and asked in his loud voice, "Adjutant Xuan, are you going out?" "Where are you going?" Xuan Huaifeng said. "A friend's treat. Let's go to a restaurant." Song Ren asked, "Does Chief Pai know?" Xuan Huaifeng said, "This is something I call a friend. No need for anyone to know." Song Ren wrinkled the thick eyebrows of the two Shandong big men and said with a straight face, "Just now the chief went out. When he was in the office, he specifically warned that Adjutant Xuan was probably bored at home and wanted to go out, so he asked us to be more careful." "Adjutant Xuan, don't be angry. The brothers are also following orders." Xuan Huaifeng was stunned for a moment. Thinking of the conversation before going out, Bai Xuelan not only did not reflect, but also left some words for Song Ren. After Song Ren finished speaking, he moved his hand. Several guards ran over with long spears, stood in a line, and guarded the gate without a crack. Xuan Huaifeng looked at Song Ren. "Why, are you still planning to ask them to shoot me?" Song Ren's duty was also entrusted by Bai Xuelan. When he mentioned the issue of going out, he was like a soldier guarding the position, not giving in an inch, saying, "If you really break in, we have to send someone immediately. Go and invite the commander back. Anyway, the commander and you can always negotiate properly. I'll call now. What do you think?" Seeing this situation, everyone around knew that Adjutant Xuan was blocked when he was about to go out. The porter stuck his head out of the room, and the passer-by also stopped, standing far behind the pillar, peeping freshly. Xuan Huaifeng is very windy. He wanted to scold people, but he knew that Song Ren in front of him was not the one he should scold. Besides, he wasn't someone who would yell at him. The more angry he was, the more he couldn't open his mouth. If you call Bai Xuelan back temporarily for something like going out to eat, and quarrel in person, you will seem very impatient. Xuan Huaifeng was stunned for a long time, barely calmed down, and said coldly, "Don't bother you, I can make the phone calls myself. Sooner or later, I have to talk about this." Turning around and going to the study, the dissatisfaction in his heart was suppressed no matter what. If he didn't get down, he picked up the phone, dialed the General Administration of Customs, and said he was looking for Chief Pai. The other end of the phone said, "Chief Pai didn't go back to the office today." Xuan Huaifeng then remembered that Bai Xuelan said that he was going to the Prime Minister's office today. You can't always dial the phone to the Prime Minister's office. He put down the phone and thought about it. Why don't he go today? He is full of anger. Even if he can really go out and meet acquaintances, his face will inevitably be seen by them, being laughed at. After a short pause, he was not as excited as before, but with a heavy heart. He took out the small notebook where he recorded the phone number, found Xuan Huaifeng's number, and dialed it. Fortunately, Xuan Huaifeng was still at the newspaper office. After answering the phone, he said, "You are really, really busy. It took a long time to make an appointment, and you regretted it within an hour." Xuan Huaifeng apologized repeatedly. Xuan Huaifeng said, "Forget it. You can't delay your serious business. You don't have to worry about Xie Chaifu's place. I'll ask Chengping to talk to him." "Are you really not coming? I called Ouyang Mansion just now, and Miss Ouyang also said it. She asked if you would come, and I said you would definitely come." "Now that's good, I'm a liar." Xuan Huaifeng didn't care about this, so he just said, "When she gets to the restaurant, you meet her, so please explain. Miss Ouyang is very measured and won't call you a liar." When I'm done with this, I'll be a host and apologize to everyone. Huang Wanxian said, "You have to keep your word." He hung up the phone. Xuan Huaifeng now knew that he was trapped in the mansion. Nominally an adjutant or lover, but in fact he was still a prisoner. Bai Xuelan has countless advantages, but when it comes to disadvantages, this domineering one is extremely unbearable.